All right, y'all, we're coming back. We're coming back. If you have been one of those fans, followers, what have you, that's been waiting to see what in the world are Lisa and Shauna doing with Unfazed, we are
Mhm.
coming back. So, Lisa, I'm super excited, but we're
Yep.
coming back
Yep.
in a new phase, quite literally, right? A new
Yep.
phase.
Yeah, it's been some time. I think our last episode was January 17th, and we had the grand plan of returning within 90 days, which, fell flat on its face because, if it were just podcasting we were doing, I think Shauna and I would have been easily back within 90 days, but best laid plans and all that. So 10 months later, we're coming back with a new iteration, a new phase of the podcast. That's going to be a little bit of an extension of where we were going at the end of our journey before. So, Shauna, you want to talk a
Mhm.
little bit about where we're going?
Yeah, look, I don't know what we were thinking when we said 90 days. Let's get this together. Let's find a producer. Let's get this out there.
Yep,
And so
yep.
people will never miss us, right? And that is not
Right.
at all what happened. Our last episode was January 17th. Here we are coming back 10 months later. And, what I think was really tough for me was the acceptance of what we talked about before in our previous podcast around putting our money where our mouth is, supporting women owned businesses, minority owned businesses, veteran owned businesses, all of that. And Lisa, I would say that we did a lot of due diligence. I stopped counting at how many potential
Right.
producers we
Right.
looked at for a new phase of Unfazed to make sure that that producer aligned with what we stated were our values, and we just simply never found it. And so we came to this crossroads of saying, okay, what's going to be the plan? What's going to be the
Mm-hmm.
plan that can't slow us down? And so now we've transitioned into unfazed, unedited, y'all. How cool is that? I think yes, it's a format that's not sexy, and it gets to the content that we want to get to
Right.
without the frills and also without compromising what we said our values were, right, Lisa?
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. So you're gonna get these videos. Oh, my microphone just dropped. So there you go. There's the unedited part of the teaser. You're gonna get these videos and hopefully eventually audio
Hmm.
without any edits. We are just recording straight through, beginning to end. It's not going to get cleaned up. It's not going to get polished, which part of what Shauna and I wanted from the get go was these raw and real conversations about diversity, equity, and inclusion, about race, about gender, about the ways in which we are sometimes complicit and sometimes not, right? And so part of our thinking around this unedited piece is you're going to get all of that. You're going to get the mistakes, you're going to get the cursing, which you did anyway before, but you're going to get, those moments of where one of us says something and then we realize we shouldn't have framed it that way, have to adapt right in the moment, right? Like you're going to see that, you're going to hear that. Um, so it's a little more vulnerable for Shauna and I, but I think that it really does adhere to what we're trying to do with this in terms of modeling what it means to have these difficult conversations and do these difficult things. So we are moving beyond endurance sport, right, Shauna?
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Well, and that was something that I was thinking about before, in that, yes, I always want to talk about endurance sport. I want to talk about sport broadly. We already talked about next year being an Olympic year, so it's almost by default that we would be talking about it anyway. But our work and our lives have endurance sport as a
Mm-hmm.
slice of it, but not the totality of it. And so I don't know about you, but I just didn't want to be limited by it. That doesn't mean I'm excluding it, but I didn't want to be limited by we can only talk about this very narrow lane of sport and that's it. But let's talk about it all. Let's talk about sport. Let's talk about business. Let's talk about the random occurrence in the grocery store. Let's talk about all of it in such a way that we can think about it, because
Mm-hmm.
if we only talked about it from one angle, that also seems very edited, right? It seems like, oh,
Right,
well, let's
right.
purposely exclude these other areas of our lives, when in fact, as soon as I get off my bike, I have to encounter some knucklehead in the parking lot that has something to say about women on a bike, or women with bodies that don't look like a traditional white male athlete. As soon as I get off the bike, I'm back in the real world again. it's
Right.
everywhere. It's the air we breathe. We can't get
Mm-hmm.
rid of it or
Mm-hmm.
bracket it. And so, why not expand unfazed, unedited into places that we hadn't always gone before? And I think that's really important to the work.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is our little teaser just to let you know that we're coming back. We are hoping to drop our first episode on Tuesday, November 21st, which is the week of Thanksgiving in the US. One episode for sure, maybe more, maybe you'll be lucky. But one of the biggest changes is we're going to be using YouTube as a platform. We love that YouTube does
Woohoo!
subtitling. And so we're going to be starting there, like we had mentioned. And you can find us on Instagram still. You can find us in
Mhm.
this newsletter that you're hopefully watching this teaser. And then we're
Woohoo.
also on LinkedIn. And are we other places, Shauna, that I am
Uh, we're
forgetting?
we're on Instagram. Did we mention that? We're on
Yep.
Instagram. So you'll be able to find us in our usual social media spots, but just know that we're ramping up and getting really excited about dropping some of the topics that we've been mulling over. And frankly, Lisa, it goes back to what we said before with the original Unfazed. We're letting people into conversations that we have every
Right.
day, all day
Yep.
anyway,
Yep.
just in a
Absolutely.
recorded format.
Yeah. All right. So watch out, folks. We're coming back to a YouTube channel and a podcast channel near you before the end of 2023.
Near you, near you.